This is Reddit. She is 6 years old and she lives in Ethiopia. The typical house in the area she lives in is made up of dirt floors, wood walls, and iron ceiling. Health issues in the area are typically typhoid, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS. Most adults that work in this area are day laborers, and they make the equivalent of $27 per month. Many of us take for granted the privileges we have and receive on a daily basis. Secure, stable homes, food, education, and medical care are just to name a few. But there are many children all over the world in poverty that do not have access to these privileges. After researching child poverty further, I have found that there are many statistics and a lot of information on the topic. My mother and I also sponsor this child, Reddit Halu, and we are able to communicate with her and talk to her and receive info on her through Compassion, which is the organization. Child poverty is a major issue today and all over the world, but also in the U.S. To understand and inform ourselves of the issue, it is important to look at what defines and causes child poverty, evaluate what is already being done, and also evaluate what else could be done further. According to Child Poverty Research and Policy Center, over 600 million children worldwide live in absolute poverty. The European Union defines poverty as persons, families, and groups of persons whose resources, material, cultural, and social, are so limited as to exclude them from the minimum acceptable way of life in the member state to which they belong. These include also resources like education and medical care. Most children in poverty don't have the luxury of getting an education at all, and those that do have too many other issues in home to even stay in school and finish. Like Reddit, the child we sponsor, she has a lot of household duties. Her duties include helping in the kitchen, running errands, and cleaning, and she's only 6 years old. In some families, the children have more duties than others, and they have no choice but to stop their schooling and stay home to help the household. Other children may not have the opportunity to go to school because of costs or possibly health issues. Children in poverty are at a greater risk of being in areas infected with health issues like HIV/AIDS and other diseases, and don't have the opportunity for proper medical care, if any at all. There are some ministries and organizations already working to improve these conditions and resources for children. Organizations like Compassion, NCCP, and UNICEF focus on child poverty in and out of the United States. Compassion International is a Christian ministry that allows more fortunate people to sponsor children in poverty in other countries all over the world. This is the ministry my mother and I chose to use to sponsor Reddit. Compassion's mission statement is to exist as an advocate for children, to release them from their spiritual, economic, social, and physical poverty, and to enable them to become responsible and fulfilled Christian adults. Compassion's ministry has been around since the 1950s, and they are the world's leading authority in child sponsorship. They are also the only child sponsorship program that is validated through independent and empirical research. Compassion partners with more than 6,000 Christian churches in 26 different countries all over the world. Together, they release more than 1.4 million babies, children, and students from poverty. The NCCP, or National Center for Children in Poverty, is a public policy center in the United States that is dedicated to promoting the economic security, health, and well-being of America's low-income families and children. According to their website, they promote family-oriented solutions at the state and national levels. The center wants to find different ways to improve work efforts, provide learning environments for young children, and also secure health care. UNICEF is the United Nations Children's Fund, and according to UNICEF's webpage, the organization was made to work with others to overcome the obstacles that poverty, violence, disease, and discrimination place in a child's path. They are part of the global movement for children, and they also launched a global study on child poverty and disparities. This study helps influence the economic and social policies that affect resources, and also is helping spread the issue of children's welfare in general. But what else can be done to improve this issue of child poverty? Many of us have busy schedules and don't have the time to even think about children in need, but there are still lots of ways we can help. One way you could help is by sponsoring a child. Even though this requires a great deal of commitment, it is a very rewarding and wonderful experience. It costs as little as $38 a month through Compassion, and sponsors and children are able to communicate and have a bond that grows through time. If money is an issue, it's easy to just get a partner or a friend or family member and sponsor a child together. According to Wittig research on Compassion's website, sponsored children are able to stay in school longer, are more likely to receive salaried or white-collar jobs, and are more likely to be leaders in their communities, in comparison to non-sponsored children, of course. If sponsoring is too much of a commitment, volunteering is another great way to help. To volunteer, you could just tutor kids outside of school in your community, or another way could be joining a small local organization and after-school programs. Finally, if volunteering and sponsoring are too time-consuming for people with busy schedules, it is easy to just make a donation to a ministry or organization like Compassion or UNICEF. These simple contributions are just some of the many ways to make a difference in a child's life. Child poverty is a major issue not only in the United States but all over the world. And I hope by sharing this information with you, you have a better understanding of child poverty, and you are inspired to further your knowledge on the topic and maybe even take a step further and make a difference in a child's life. Thank you.